Kapa Hawaiian FM at 100.3 and 99.1 and online at kaparadio.com. We are very pleased, ladies and gentlemen. It's Aloha Friday, another edition of the Kapa Cafe. Joining us via Zoom, we have Ohana Krug and Ohana Krug. Aloha.
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 You know, hoi hoi no maua o jazz I ka lohe ana I kia mele hou, ka ike maka ana I ka himeni ana o kia ohana. Jazz and I were so excited when we got the single and to see your Ohana Kalehua come together. I'm going to start with you, Kalehua. You know, we know your voice, very kama'aina here on the radio airwaves. You've done some great work, especially with some of the reforestation projects at Mauka here and the Mele here in Kona. And here you are. Let's just kind of boom, boom, boom with your Ohana and this release. Tell us a little bit about this project.
Well, yeah. So it all started many moons ago when when the kids were young. Singing was really something that was he hana punahele na lako. So for us, it just came to a point where life progressed, and we kept singing, and now the two older ones are in college, and they'll talk a little bit about that. And the little one is just old enough in high school to get to a place where we really feel it's strong, and it's a good time to bring our music out. And so this song, this single, was one that was composed for La Ku'oko'a. This past La Ku'oko'a, November 28th, we hosted at our school here in Anakuli a community event, and it was a Ku'ikalo event that was coordinated by Kanaio Kana of Kamehameha Schools. And so that song actually came out in that context, and we thought it was a beautiful song. It was a wonderful process for Ohana, and
Oya no, how oli no now ka Ohana. Okay, so ke olo launa o ko ya o ko iho pakahia pau ke olo.
Okay. Aloha mai kako, olo kamale, olo kahiapo. My name is Kamale. I'm the oldest, and I'm a student at UH Manoa. This is actually my last semester there. Yeah. And we're from Waianae, Oahu. And yeah, we want to know.
Aloha.
Aloha. Ovao o Ka'ula, Kavaina. I'm Ka'ula, the middle child. I'm also a student at UH Manoa, and I will be going into my last undergrad year. And I think Mele has kind of followed me through into college, because right now me and Kamale are part of the Tuahina troupe, and kind of this semester we're focusing on releasing like a CD album. And the Tuahina troupe is the Hawaiian music band under the Hawaiian Language College at Manoa. I think that's kind of something cool that after releasing Kulaivi, we can kind of gain more experience in the recording studio and recording mele and composing mele for our lahui to hear.
Aloha.
Aloha ko o kamuli o lele apa'o Krug. And I'm lele apa'o. I'm in 10th grade in Halakumana schools.
Aloha eko ohana. You know, Jazz and I talk about this a lot because I love the fact that you introduce yourself as the middle child. I'm the middle child. That's who I am. That's my name, and that's who I am.
Yep.
With the Keiki, with the Keiki today, and you folks taking on this role, it's powerful because we don't always get, Jazz, we don't always get mele, number one, from Ohana, number two, at this, I would say, age, maybe, Jazz? Mana'o?
Mm-hmm. Not in Hawaiian music. We do a lot of times island reggae. Some tend to release young. What I love about the project, and I guess about the Ohana too, is we're always, especially on Kapa, we're always trying to promote that that foundation, which is what we share on Kapa, as well as like in schools. And when we see it kind of come to life from somebody like Kalehua and then to his keiki, and watching, like, for instance, you're all introducing yourselves and you're all students in Olelo Hawaii, you're practitioners. It's nice to see it organically happen. I think in our house, it's forced by chains to our kids. And so it's nice to see it organically happen. Does it organically happen? Is there a
So our process was called indoctrination, and so when they were born, they were homeschooled all the way till about 8 years old, third grade, and the hale was Olelo Hawaii Valeno, and so they had really no choice in the matter. And so now Hawaiian is probably their strongest language.
That's beautiful. You know, we are also kaya puni parents. The older ones have gone through punana leo. Kaivi ko'o oya no kamuli. Kahinoa puka, mai ka punana leo o mai.
Hold my kai.
And ea no oya makapapa malao. So he's in kindergarten at Kikulo Ehunui Kaimalino. And it's interesting from, you know, Ivaka Lua Oi Makahiki Ihala from 20 years ago to now where we're at. And 20 years ago, I got a giggle when you guys talk about your Tuahine group. I have funny story before. Okay, funny story, okay? So listen, when Auntie was in Kulanui, when Auntie was in Kulanui, 100 pounds ago, you know, all my friends, you know, Auntie Kainani. So we had one group, we was one forced group. Actually, it wasn't forced, but Kauka Kalena Silva, we was in his mele class. And we had to come up with one group and one hula troupe. So I was the hula dancer with some of my friends and Auntie Kainani folks. We had to come up with what trio and we had to like perform. And look at Auntie Kainani now. Look at her now. And all of these people that we went to college with are now amazing professors and amazing Hawaiian musicians. So I just sprinkling some fairy dust on the Tuahine group. I just want you to know that amazing things could happen.
Mahalo, mahalo.
So tell us, I want to come to the hakumele and how did that come to be and the intention and why la ku'oko'a?
Well, I think it's always about messaging, and for me, I've always used composition not just in the musician profession side, but it's also in the educational side. And so this mele is definitely a direct roadmap. There's not too much kauna in there. It's really speaking to all stages of life, all groups, as kupuna, that the folks that take on that role of guidance, the kanaka and the keiki in the end. And so the haku mele was really about professing our promise that this is what we know of akua, this is what we know of kanaka, and for the kids, the leo keiki is the one kind of promising at the end that this is what we'll do. We will also care for our land, ikula ivi, a homeland for us to live.
Profound and great statements. Now, to all the ohana that I cannot call you guys kiki, but what is it, the process of this, number one, the hakumele, number two, the recording process, pehea la kela?
Oh, I can talk about the haku because it just, you know, it's that first paragraph in the song about akua. That's what happens. It just something happens in there that melody pop out and words pop out. It's like basically not really our mele that we wrote. It's something that always ends up having a spiritual foundation and source. But they can talk about the recording process because that was their first time in. Go ahead.
Recording process. I think just a little little ike, and you know, I don't want everybody to know this, but we kind of like rushed it a little bit. You know, Laku Okoa happened in like a month later. We're like, hey, let's record it, or a couple of weeks later, like, yeah, let's record it. There's all kind of not hamajang, but it was happening super fast, but I think it was for the best. I think recording with you know, Anakala Sean Pimentel, Mahalo Nui A'oi, and at Studio Ala Moana, I think we kind of spent like a whole day recording that song, and me and Dad had to play all the instruments and kind of figure out, because we weren't really sure what we wanted or what instruments we wanted. Did we want picking? Did we want different kind of strumming or something? And we kind of had to figure out as we kind of were playing in the studio room. And then just the singing part, I think watching Lele sing the lead I think in the middle of the song that she kind of started a little bit nervous, but then as like she kept singing and kept singing, like she was kind of lost in the melody, and we could like see it. Like she just closed her eyes and she just going, and you could hear by her voice that she was in, I don't know, in a trance almost. But I think they can talk about how they felt with singing and watching.
Yeah, super nervous at first because I never did it before. Well, that kind of strict and stuff. But yeah, it was super fun for my first experience. And I just have the melody stuck now and all the huolelo pa'a because of it.
Of course you do. And you wouldn't have had it any other way.
So I hope you guys know that how lucky you are to have your first recording be at that studio.
Mhm.
That studio is amazing. That microphone is probably like a $30,000 microphone. So just many musicians don't ever get to record a studio like that. To be able to have that first experience in there. I hope you took plenty of video.
Yeah, well, we missed that part.
Still working. Now in a house like yours, is there other music that happens, on those Saturdays when you're cleaning? Is there like, oh, let's Motown it out this weekend?
Yep.
Is there what is the music that you folks listen to outside of Mele Hawaii?
Go get them, gang.
We listen to
Okay.
every
Yeah,
any kind of music.
genre.
I can share that this past Halloween, Ka'ula was Freddie Mercury.
Oh yeah, yeah,
We love Queen.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, all.
Yeah.
all
That is
types of
that
music.
is the best. What I love, what's really interesting is a lot of the generation today, everything is remixed. Yeah. So when I'm walking around the house and they're like, "Mom, how do you know the lyrics to that?" I'm like, "Oh, don't let me start. Don't let me start. I'm giving you the original right now."
That's
And
not really
especially
your
the
music.
reggae,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. You guys borrowed them.
That's ours.
For the two of you that are in Kulanui and in college, you're finishing up now, and then of course your undergrad. When you had a choice to go to, maybe you shouldn't answer this. What is your intention? You're almost Pao with Kulanui. What is your intention when you're done? What do you hope to do?
Well,
Well, they probably never even tell their dad that yet. Pressure.
Olelo has always been a part of our lives. So I think for me, I just plan to keep the Olelo in my life for the rest of my life. So I'm finishing my undergrad now, and then next year, hopefully, if I get in to the master's program to teach at Kulakayapuni, a Hawaiian language immersion school, and that's pretty much the beginning, and just to keep educating the next generation about the culture and the Olelo, most importantly. Yeah.
Awesome. Mahalo.
I think for me, in Olelo and just like Kamale, once I graduate with my Olelo Hawaii degree, to move on into education and teaching and Kayapuni and all those Ike Hawaii kind of based schools. I can say, and I tell people that, I have a choice, I can do whatever I want and all that kind of stuff. But I think our upbringing kind of put us on a path of Olelo Hawaii and mostly education as well. I mean, Dad, he's a kumu and now po kumu, and he's been, around education pretty much all of our lives. So as much as like we can think we have a choice, you almost don't. And all we know, all we know is Olelo Hawaii and education and, Ike Hawaii and all those things. And I think for us, our main goal is to share all of that, share the music of, our culture and our Olelo onto the next generations and people today. But I think we're still too young to kind of tell adults, hey, maybe you don't know this, but here's this and here's that, and there's, hehake, all those things. But yeah.
And how about the muli? Now you got what does the muli want to do? Is the muli gonna do Kulanui? What is the muli into?
Yeah, the same path. Mostly But I just transferred to Halakumana, and it's kind of like a shift because I was Ma'atu Kayapuni only, and now it's an English school, but it's still based on Hawaiian education. But I'm trying out for Kamehameha for sports and to just strengthen my Olelo Pelikania because my Olelo Hawaii. And because we're quarantined at home, I'm just Olelo Hawaii all the time. So it weakens my Olelo Pelikania that I need to have to speak to the Lahui to make them understand in their Olelo too now. But yeah, and just yeah, same path, education, Olelo, and just yeah.
But you know, you guys, you know what's so awesome about that is not that you have to, but it's kind of a really cool thing. Just like the kanaka lavai'a, yeah. When the kanaka lavai, ohana lavai'a, that's the kuleana of the ohana lavai'a.
Yeah.
Hu'ikalo, likia like. And okay, kahi mea, yeah, kalamai no keia kwapo ana, but okay, kahi mea, o mana o vau, e ho'oholo ana ka umau po e keiki, e imi I keia au ka ho'o na au. E no vau e haine ia o ko e kolu, a ole laua I ho'oholo pela. A e no vau ma ke ano he kumukula, ma ke kula nui kaya ulu ma Hawaii, palama nui. Me ho'okahikiki vale no, ma kaya puni, ahe hoi hoi na kiki e lua ea e. A kano na e, I loko no o kue nui, I loko no ka huhu loa, Ike vau, o kia o ka olelo Hawaii ke kahua o ko laua ola. Ale laua I ho'oholo, ale laua I hahai. Ka, e ano vau e, ano, Ike vau pono vau e pilivi o keia ke ala kupono no laua, o kia ke ala kupono no ka ohana. And as a mama, you know, you just gotta trust and know, maybe it's not your plan, but it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. You know, and maybe that's a good thing they don't get into radio too. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's a good thing too.
Hey, but just know that even as a father and even in the house, this isn't something that you know, we cannot force our kids. We cannot force anything like this onto them because advocacy has to be genuine, and it has to come from this, you know, this internal fire that burns in all of us. And so when we know what we know, when we engage in with our culture and our language, that no matter where they're at, and I think it really should be said that no matter what kids do, when they take Olelo and they take Ike, they're gonna permeate into contexts that normally don't get to engage with culture and language, and so it's always a good thing. No matter whether it's medicine, a doctor, you're working at Costco, anywhere, you got your own photography business. Whenever you engage with people, you're always bringing that kahua that you were talking about, and so. You know, and this is me actually, reaffirming with my own children. You can be whatever you want, but the thing that's permanent is what you're bringing along with you every time.
Mahalo, I feel like my therapy session with the Ohana Krug.
Oh my God, that's $75. Yeah. You can Venmo.
Mahalo, I can Venmo. So project, you know, now that this is out, now that, you know, we're sharing it, now that, you know, people are singing along in the car, perhaps a project, is that in the works?
Yeah, so we are practicing one more song, and we'll probably be setting up with Anakala Sean in the next couple of weeks because we think we got it. We think we got one down, and it's a mele aina, mele pana, no komako au komoko puni o ahu for Mount Ka'ala. I think we're gonna have a song for Ka'ala coming out pretty soon.
Awesome. Now, Jazz, you know, what's really interesting is it's so perfect because of course we're into, you know, every day is Olelo Hawaii for Olelo Hawaii people, but for the world, you know, this context of Mahina Olelo Hawaii, okay, shoot, yeah, we'll take it. We'll take February, right on, whatever. We've been able to, you know, really push and highlight your mele using this platform. So for the Ohana Krug, I say Ohana, social media platforms, are there any social media platforms that we can follow?
Yes. We have our Instagram account in progress, Ohana Krug Music, if you guys want to follow.
Okay.
Um, it's not a lot, but we're working on it, maybe videos, singing every week, a little something for everyone to enjoy. Um, yeah, that's pretty much. I mean, we have our Apple Music account and our Spotify and all the other music platforms online, but mostly, yeah, our Instagram.
Okay.
If can.
Yeah, Instagram. And so we can download, people around the world who are listening and watching can download the Mele via all those digital platforms. And then
Yeah.
hopefully more Mele coming soon from Ohana Krug.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
definitely.
Jazz, any closing thoughts?
I have two questions. Number one, is there any more Hikua music coming?
Oh,
We'll look at the time, everybody. I don't know if I have a comment on that. I've been thinking about just jumping in with the kids and singing along with them on some certain songs that we have, but Hiikua maybe that's a very strong maybe.
oh, awesome.
Second question is, when are you gonna get into acting?
Me?
You, yes, you, bro. There are movies. Whenever there is a person of Hawaiian or Polynesian, I always watch. I'm like, Kalihua could have played that part.
What?
When when they were talking about Rock playing Kamehameha, and everybody was talking, you saw it. I tagged you. I was like, Kalihua Krug is the guy you should be trying out for this movie.
Oh man, well, I think they gotta to put the tone down a little bit and make my skin look a little bit more ikaika,
Skin bronze.
a kupona. Yeah, like a Greek at least. Yeah, I think I'm a little too pink.
I'm just surprised that directors have not seen you and go, oh my God, this guy needs to be on camera.
Mahalo. I'm thinking about governor one day. That's
Hey,
no.
yeah, we would vote.
Oh,
No.
All right.
It's out there now.
It's out there. The
It's out
kupuna
there.
heard it. The kupuna heard it. We need it. We need it in. We need it. Just say. And we're just gonna leave it at that. I'm just gonna kikupo.
I hear them laughing though.
Kalehua Ohana Krug, mahalo nui no kia hui ana. We're so happy. We're so happy that we get to do our part and play your music here in Hawaii Island. And so everyone who's listening worldwide is inspired by your work.
Mahalo.
And we hope to hear more music from Ohana Krug. Mahalo anui and take care. Mahalo.
Mahalo. Aloha.